Okay, folks, well, welcome to this session this evening, our Go for Diamond webinar. And as you saw the promotion flyer that went out on our emails and posts and so forth, we're going to talk about work ethics. And again, these are our principles. And I know that many of you are saying, well, we know what work ethics is all about, but we want to share this from our point of view, how we apply this in our lives. What is it that we do? There's a reason where whatever Tammy and I get involved with, whenever we do a venture, many of you know, right? We do multiple different ventures. We're always going to end up at the top. Why? Why is it that what do we do? How do we go about it? And it's not to brag at all by a long shot. It's really to we want you to have those results. In fact, we want you to do better than us, because if you do better than us, we can retire. It's not my meaning. So the point is that I asked actually one of our team member in Ghana, Dr. KOA, I asked him to share his point of view on what is work ethics, what is ethics for you. And it's about 3.5 minutes, and he's going to share, we're going to play his clip at the end, and it's not going to be a long session. It's a month end today. On the month end, I know that a lot of you have a lot of things to do to maximize your income and getting last people in, and there's promotions going on and there's things. And so we don't want to have this webinar too long, but we want to cover some of the practical, there's 5 points that we want to cover when it comes. So we don't have any slides at all. So we're going to be sharing this with you. And at the end, we're going to share a little clip with Dr. KOA from Ghana. He's just a wonderful, wonderful man. I like to call him a philosopher. He's very inspirational, and he's very inspiring to many actually within his culture, and maybe really other countries around the world that have the opportunity to listen to him. So before we start, Tammy, to talk about the topics, did you want to add something?
I'm quite excited about tonight's topic. Chris sent me a few guidelines of what we want to talk about tonight, and he's absolutely on point. I just added a couple of little insights there. So I'm going to let you go ahead, Chris, and get this started. And I'll just add to each topic, each segment.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, I'm just moving some things around. I'm very fortunate to have all these screens, so I have lots of computer real estate here to move around. It's really nice to see everything around. I can't wait with the goggles with Apple, where you're going to put those goggles. And I'm already planning what I'm going to do with this. And you can have digital monitors. I'm probably going to have about 6 of them, and they're all going to be like this. And I'll be able to actually, I'm not sure how that's going to be going with a webinar, because I can't have a goggle. So we'll figure this out eventually. But I look forward to
figure out how he's going to use goggles to look at me too.
Look my way through the goggles, see what version of you do I want. No, I'm just kidding, my love. You're absolutely perfect. Okay.
He's too funny.
Okay, so what we want to talk about here today, again, is some of the principles when it comes to ethics. I want to talk about 5 different points that we want to cover. We'll expand on them. And the 5 are, one is punctuality and attendance. And I'll expand on that, right? And the other one is integrity and honesty. And we'll talk about that. This is so important. The other one is respect and professionalism. Again, very important. Doesn't matter what market you are in. These are different aspects that are very, very important if you want to create long-term relationship and also a prosperous business. Number 4 is accountability. We want to talk about briefly. And again, I know you guys are aware of this. I know you guys are not born yesterday, but again, we want to share with you our point of views, how we see it through our eyes. And the last point is obviously the last point that I find is actually important is confidentiality. And we'll expand on what we mean by that. And once we've done sharing this, then we'll share a little clip from Dr. KOA. And I know that many of you could have shared that also, but I just kind of picked one because I wanted this call to be short, to the point, so you guys can go on and move on with your business as we are on the month end. So the first point I want to talk about is punctuality and attendance. And what I mean by that, and I know that in many markets, being on time, it's absolutely amazing. In other markets, being on time requires a lot of work and a lot of discipline to kind of create that habit. But there's one thing that I found is the people that are there early that are there on time tend to be the people that have more success in my experience. Where the people are always late, it's interesting, but it's a pattern that they tend to always miss out on things. Okay, so one point is that's absolutely true in be true to your commitment. So for example, if you commit yourself to do something, okay, Tammy and I have our businesses and we have our goals. And our goals, obviously keep in mind that we're used to a certain income stream, a certain income number. We've been living with that for years and years. So we're accustomed to that. So for us, it's not far-fetched. It's definitely attainable. My point here is, even though it's attainable, we'll go further. I'm probably going to double it, triple it, or quadruple it. Okay. And then that's my number. And then I'm committed. I'm committed to show up. There's some folks that, for example, our Max business, I am 100% committed in doing my presentations, no matter what the obstacles, no matter what the situation is. But a lot of folks are going to say, well, that's not happening. That's not there. This is not there. And because of that, they stop. I don't stop. I keep moving forward. I'm committed, no matter what, for better or for worse. And this is the point when I talk about attendance, right? And commitment. And of course, punctuality, perseverance. I have a hard time with this word in English. So these are very solid principles. I want to have Tammy also to share her point of view when it comes to that. But the point here, folks, is when I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm doing it no matter what. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter how bad it gets. It doesn't matter all the bad situation, everything, all the uns are against me. It doesn't matter. I will still go forward. I will stay the course. Does that make sense? I will stay the course. I will continue. And what I found in my experience and all the objections and challenges that I can think of as I recognize my life after 57 years, not that I've been in business 57 years, but you guys know what I'm talking about here, is I see patterns. And eventually, when the tsunami goes away and the weather the sun shines, shows again, and the weather is nice again, it's really interesting, but I kept going. And yes, the momentum was impacted, but I kept going. And when things are good, then whatever it is I was doing, the speed is 4, 5, 10 times faster because I stayed the course. So it's important to commit to the decisions and to the goals that you set that you want to achieve. And people recognize that. Another thing, and I'll pass it over to Tammy for you to cover your point on number one, is people, I didn't realize that because we're so committed to what we do that we don't recognize the things that we do that people see. And one of the things that people were saying, Chris, we've been watching you and Tammy for years. And these are people I haven't done business with for over 10 years. And you know how many people I know that stayed with the company for 16 years? Very, very little. It's a rare commodity. And for me, there's nothing special about it because in my mind, there was no other option. But that's the point I want to share with you here is we're not giraffes looking around. What's the next best deal? Are we planning for, different situation that may happen? Yes, we are. We're not blind to all of that. We're not dumb. But in the same time, I understand what we have in our hands. I understand the benefits that we bring to people's lives. And that is what keeps us on target. And people recognize that. Your downline recognizes that. Even people that, you may not even know are still watching you through the Facebook hourglass or Instagram or TikTok. Or, for example, I started doing some things on Pinterest. Tell me, what was that video that we did? It was seen like 2,100 times since yesterday. It's on Pinterest.
Affirmation?
Yeah, the affirmation one. 2,100 in just a few days. I think it's a day or so. Pinterest. Yeah. So why? See, people are starting to see the consistency of what we are doing. So anyway, I'll pass it over to you, Tammy, on your points on that subject.
Yeah, so I'm not going to repeat the stuff that Chris says. That's why I wanted him to share his points on all of these different subjects that you're going to hear. But there's 3 words that I'm going to have you to write down. Mind your business.
Brilliant.
Mind your business. You are running a business, and every single day, the decisions you make will determine the results that you're going to get. And if you set goals and you're not reaching those goals, you need to ask yourself every single night, what did I do to mind my business today? What were the actions that I took today to move me towards the goals that I have in my business, in my life, whatever it is that you have in your goals? And I think and we'll probably repeat that, Chris, but journaling and scheduling, organization, as I find in mentoring others, it's probably the biggest struggle for people is to being on target. And if you schedule your business hours, if you schedule your business hours and honor your time slot commitments, you're going to see how much results that you're going to get in everything that you do. And this part of that is punctuality, showing up to your Zoom sessions when you have a one-on-one, showing up, attending to the trainings. You know, many times people say, this is not working for me, I don't know how to do this. Yet every single week when there's a training, they're not on the session. Okay, so that's part of all of this. And another thing, you remember, Chris, back, oh my gosh, it must have been back in 2008, 2009, first time we went to Philippines. And it was unbelievable, the work ethic that we saw in this culture. Unbelievable. And then you would look at the leader. No wonder they have a good work ethic. They have a leader with a good work ethic, and they obviously had big dreams and goals to make that happen. There's one thing that leader said, and you may know who this person was, but there's one thing that he said was FYI. Write that down. FYI.
Fix yourself immediately.
Fix yourself immediately. And I still hear him saying that when there's things that I feel that I could be better at in technology or whatever it is. And this is in my back of my head. Fix yourself immediately, Tammy. Fix yourself immediately, Tammy. Because if you don't get better and you can't be the example, then you're not leading. You're not leading. And leading with integrity, right? Because when you bring people into business, you need to lead people. It's not about how much money you make. If you don't move people, no matter what you do, they'll never follow you. They'll never follow and do the things you do if you're not leading people with love, of course.
You know, Tammy, there's 2 things you said that are so important that even I applied in my own practice. Well, the first one is mind your own business. You know, I was talking to a business partner of mine, and he was saying, God, that person keeps asking me how much money you're making, how much money this person is making, and this and that, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And they don't mind their own business. Mind you, I don't care who makes money above me. I really don't care. What matters is what happens in my ecosystem, right? Our teams, our leadership, what we're doing. Don't worry about what your upline's doing, what your sideline's doing, what company's doing. I mean, there's a certain common sense, but there's things that are in the works that I'm telling you, things are going to evolve. But mind your own business. Number 1. Number 2 is when it comes to scheduling. Right now, I'm not kidding. I was starting to get overwhelmed. People are booking me left, right, and center, and I'm starting to overlap where I thought I had an hour. I don't have an hour because someone else booked it, and now it cut my hour. And I have, and it's messy. So here's what I did. and you guys are aware of this, I suggest that you familiarize yourself with Calendly. It's free. Go to YouTube. How do I use Calendly? And watch the 12-year-old explaining that to you. Okay. I'm not kidding. I mean, it doesn't matter how old they are. If they have the information, I bought a $900 project to a kid that's no, I don't know if he's even 18. Right. He looks like a little kid, but man, he's accurate on how to actually populate your YouTube channel to maximize your results. The kid is doing phenomenal. He has millions and millions and millions of views. Hey, doesn't matter how old he is. I will learn from it. My point here is schedule yourself. And now when I tell people, you don't have to ask me permission to book an appointment. My schedule's already laid out. Click this link, book your appointment, and we're going to book an hour. It's going to create a Zoom link, and the two of us will get in there, or whoever you want. And now people are booking, and my calendar is filling up without me having to deal with, okay, here's what I have available. You understand what I mean? So this is organization. Now, the second point I want to talk about is integrity and honesty. Okay, this is so important because this is what will last with you. You know, when someone was telling me, when you pass on, you don't bring all your goods and your money and all that stuff. None of this stuff matters. What matters is what you left behind when it comes to the people you're impacted, the personal growth that you've achieved. Now, I don't know exactly how all of this works after, but the reality is this is something that belongs to me. It's not a physical thing, right? It's a, I don't know if you want to call it an emotion. It's personal growth. It's you as a person evolving. And one thing that's very important is honesty is absolutely critical. Doing things with integrity. And I know sometime when nobody's watching, it's very easy to think, oh, let me just do this one. Let me just take this person. Like nobody knows that person. And, but sooner or later, time will promote you or expose you. I'm telling you, this is a universal law. It never fails. Time will promote you or expose you. This is coming from a great leader from a previous company. And like Tammy was using an example, that's the one that stuck with me. Time will promote you or expose you. And it's so encouraging when people promote you and you don't even know that's going on. It's the consistency of doing the right thing. And by a long shot, we're not perfect, but I'm trying. And people recognize that. So it's very important that, I don't want to, we'll talk about that about confidentiality later, because we'll talk about what people say behind backs and everything else. That's on number 5. But integrity and honesty, doing your business with integrity. Tammy and I are so careful about that. And if we make a mistake because we weren't aware, we will fix it immediately. I will apologize. Now, it doesn't happen often because I tend to, plan my strategies before I execute, but sometimes you just don't know, and something happened and you overlook something. Just admit the mistakes, and people will appreciate that. But do your business with honesty and integrity. You will never fail. People will remember, even though you made a mistake. Stay the course. People will remember you by that. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, and a couple of phrases that I know you all have heard, but this is the same thing that lines up with integrity and honesty, and the reason why people will or will not do business with you, even if they may be in your organization. And there's people in your organization. There's probably people in our organization that may want or may not want to work with us, right? And the key is to build strong relationships. And we're always saying that, but people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. How many times have you prospected people that you actually know really well and you haven't moved the needle? Often I question myself, have I really got to know that person? Am I being genuine when I'm connecting with them? Or am I just connecting with them because I want something? You know what I mean? Like, people sense all of this stuff. And when you just work from your heart, people sense all of this stuff. And so people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You all know these phrases. And these are things that you want to live by. And and work on the most important thing is work on building really strong and trusting relationships. In other words, when people see you out there making things happen, moving the needle, and leading by example, I can tell you they're going to want to do business with you. When
I
they
agree.
see that, they're going to want to do business with you. Like Chris and I can make phone calls so easily today, not before. Not when I first got started in network marketing, it wasn't that way. But now I've made phone calls, and within, just because of the relationship and they know what we've accomplished, they would just sign up. And I've had people even text me right back going, hey, I just signed up. I have no idea what I signed up to, but I really trust you. And I say, great, thank you so much for that. Let's get set up on a Zoom session so I can walk you through the process. And we get this all the time. And I'm not saying it to toot our horns. I'm saying it because it took us from stranger to building such a solid relationship over the years, and them watching us on social media, them watching us, go up ranks from when we started and all of that stuff. And that's what it takes for people to want to do business with you. And high integrity is one of them.
I agree. So again, respect, professionalism, integrity and honesty, folks, we're talking about, your team, your downline. Be careful about dumping information or dumping your situation or problems to your downline. I'm telling you, your downline is looking for inspiration, not desperation. And that's really important. Respect your upline, respect the corporate executive line. Nobody's perfect. Everybody are human beings, and people make mistakes sometimes. But this is something that Tammy and I have always honored, is we always respected upline, downline, sideline, the executive leadership, the people that are behind it. You don't know what they go through to make things possible. All we see is the situations and the problem, but what we don't see is the entire world is dealing in that mess, right? And many of the companies are gone, and here we are, like, just innovating, and there's a lot of things that are going to come out, and some of you are going to find, I know we have a call this Wednesday with our CEO in reference to a business investment with our own company. And I'm telling you, I think it's going to explode. Why? Because I know these products are what people need. And when it's in the mainstream media and people are aware, I'm telling you, be prepared. So if you have a piece of that pie, it will serve you well. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not saying to invest. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of innovation are being done, and things are going to change. Things are going to evolve. Things are transforming. So now I'm going to go down. Number 3 is respect and professionalism, right? Treat others with respect, regardless of the position, promote a positive environment, and foster collaboration. Foster collaboration. This is probably one of the most important tool in my arsenals of tools. Is always create a bridge of communication between parties to be able to either resolve problems, come up with ideas, and just kind of innovate or re-innovate or create. This is very important. And I know that Max, Joe, they know us by that. They know when is it right away. He knows I'm going to create an environment where, okay, we need a call. We need a time. We need to invite these leaders. These are the people ahead of all these organizations. We need to talk. We need to discuss. And we need to figure out what's the next course of action. That's how you survive tsunamis, is by locking arms, no matter how bad things get. And when things get good, the relationship and the foundation that you've built, the trust that you've built, this is what builds a mammoth community with a foundation of concrete. Because when things were at the worst, we stayed together, we locked arms. That's the foundation of success. So these are my thoughts when it comes to respect and professionalism, right? I always try. I'm not perfect in many aspects, but I do try. And in some cases, I excel really good at it, and some I'm not so good at it. And that's why I need partnership to be able to help me out with some of my weaknesses. And that goes back into another aspect of partnership. But, respect and professionalism is absolutely critical. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, and some activities that you can do. I mean, every single one of you have organizations of some size, and you can create some inner circle platforms and work together and create and empower, inspire, give each other some things that have worked for you this week, sharing different things. And that it could be a really small group, but a small group with goals and a passion and a desire to succeed, and you support each other on those goals, can turn into a large group. So there's really no excuse. It could be just two people together can move mountains, right? It can start with two. So think of things that you can do in that environment, and you'll cultivate all of that relationship building. You'll cultivate the work ethic, keeping each other accountable, all that stuff. Of course, accountability is number 4, but and working together in a professional manner, and not share all the stuff that's going on in your life, or whatever's going on around in the environment. When you put your business hat on, put your business hat on. And
I agree, Tim.
that's a good one.
I agree, Tammy. So the next point we want to talk about is accountability. And we kind of touched on that a little bit, but taking responsibility for one's action, meeting commitment, and showcase commitment and dedication to your team. Okay, again, this is very important. I kind of touched on it on the attendance and punctuality. Really, that's I was kind of touching on the accountability. This is really, really important. The 5 levels of leadership from John C. Maxwell. This is that would be level 4. Okay. And I mean, it starts at the beginning, but level 4 is where people start recognizing you. Because level 1 it's like our government. Again, I want to turn this political, but the only power he has is the power is given to me by his position. Not because people like him or anything like that, right? So that's kind of what society is used to. And unfortunately, that is not good leadership. But then second level is, is that relationship, the time you spend with individuals to try to resolve and listen and come up with ideas, and the respect, and there's many other aspects, but that's really the point that's important for leadership too. Leadership 3 is they see you in action, right? They see you sponsoring, and they see you doing things. They see you achieving. They see you at the top of the rank in the top 10 or whatever. They see that. They say, okay, and that's another level of respect. And then level 4, well, this is where you tend to train and mentor and create environment and create an ecosystem for people to have a place to park their cars and to be able to go and learn and go to school and evolve and work in their personal growth and so forth. And okay, so that's level 4. And what's very important is the accountability, taking responsibility for what you say you're going to do, that you're going to do it. If you tell someone you do something and you don't show up, right away, you lost all credibility in that point. They may not tell you, but they know. And if you live your life doing these things, well, it's one of the reasons why people don't want to be around you, or they don't want to follow you, or when you invite them to do certain things, they may not show up. That's because of this accountability has been broken over and over and over. So you got to take that very seriously. Like Tammy and I, when we make a commitment to go somewhere, it's virtually impossible to break that commitment. The only thing that would happen if we got into an accident, or a family member had something and we had to go right away, or it would be something dramatic that would get us to break a commitment. You guys know, whatever we've planned, whatever we've said we would attend or go, think about an instance that Tammy and I didn't commit. I don't think you can think of one, because we make a point of always committed to what we committed to in doing. That's accountability, because we know that the moment you break one, you can do 1,000 times a commitment. You break one, boom, you just broke that level of confidence. Now, you might have had a lot of deposits and you did a huge withdrawal, because that's what happens if something like this happened. You still have enough money, if you understand my analogy, where there's still credibility, but it takes a big, big toll on your credibility deposit. So this is something that's super important, accountability. If you tell someone you're going to do something, do it. show up. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, I want to recognize some people on this session, Chris, because
Mm-hmm.
it's been what, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, you guys, that we've really committed to each other on these accountability sessions. The 7 a.m. warriors. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, some
Oh, yeah.
days it's not easy to get up, and Chris is going, he's pushing me out of the bed. And he goes, Tammy, it's 7 a.m. I'm like, oh, and you know, because I had a late night and we've been working a lot lately, and I get up and I get on. And so these are really, really important commitments. So I want to recognize, I'm going to start from the right underneath you, Chris. There's Bill Dietrich, Linda Coffin, and Erica, and Janet's not on tonight. Luce shows up at 7 a.m. sometime. Kudos to you, Luce. I know you're traveling a lot. And so that's basically, I know that Marie Paul has hopped in from time to time on her 7 a.m. So great work, you guys, because this is not, 7 a.m. is really not easy. And but if you do it long enough, you create habits, right? And the 9:30 impactors, you guys are so awesome. Your commitment is so high. Marie Paul, I know that sometimes the 7 a.m. warriors will get on. I know that Linda and Bill, you guys have been really consistent on that lately. I want to recognize that. And Barbara Ann, and I know Sylvie, you've popped into some. Barry, you're very consistent. Congratulations, kudos to you. Oh my God, Denise, you're my 7 a.m. warrior queen too. So, and Jasmine, I know you get on a lot on the 9:30 a.m. sessions, and Lucy Cano as well. So I wanted to recognize this group because we know what it takes to show up, even when there's days that you just don't feel like it. But sometime put a thumbs up, the icon thumbs up, if you ever made a decision to show up because you didn't want to let your team down. Absolutely, absolutely. I know I have those moments where I don't want to let people down, and I'm going to show up. Most of the time I show up because I'm very committed, but sometimes I need that accountability kick in the butt too. So we're all human beings. So I just want to say thank you for your commitment to all these accountability sessions.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I put hearts in the morning. And I know I'm not a morning person, but I will make sure that I will kick butt, Tammy, get out of bed. You've made a commitment, 7 o'clock, do it. But the thing is, I stay late. I'm a late person where Tammy goes to bed a little earlier than me. But excuses. I know, but I do work hard. Now, the last point we want to talk about is confidentiality. This is something that is probably one of the most important out of the 5. They're all equally important, but I can tell you that respecting the privacy and confidentiality of sensitive information of others, things that happens, this is critical. I cannot stress this enough. I know for a fact that if this is not respected, this could be one of the main area as to why the team has broken down. Okay. And where there's issues and challenges, right? Is when you break that bond, right? Someone trusted you with some vital information and you tend to share this with someone else, and you probably don't mean wrong. You just kind of, you maybe even want to try to help. But folks, you have to understand the importance of maintaining these kind of secrets. If someone shares something in confidence with you, that should go to your grave with you, if you understand what I mean. And I know it's not easy, right? Because sometimes we trust someone, but that someone also trusts someone else. And I tell you that someone else also really, really trusts someone else. What's going on right now? The network is starting to spread. Next thing you know, things happens. So this is something that will implode an organization. I cannot stress this enough. So these are the 5 principles, right? Be very, very careful when people trust you with sensitive content. Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, often, I mean, when a story gets told, the moment it gets back to you, if you agree with me, put a 1 in the chat. The moment that gets back to you, is the story different?
Oh, yeah.
Very much different. be very, very, very careful. You know, I know that Joe Wojcicki trusts a lot in Chris and I. We have relationship beyond business. And I mean, he shares a lot of things with us in confidence. And imagine if we would have told one person who told the next person who told the next person. You think Joe would ever tell us anything again? No. No. So it's so important. I mean, you guys know sometimes we create that excitement. You guys are like, oh, you're trying to get things out of us. And we won't spill the beans, because we know that Joe trusts in us. And when the time is right, he's going to share the information. So it's very, very important to live by that.
I totally agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of added one, Chris, because I'm always about that, fostering great relationships. Even if people leave, how many people stop talking to people who leave, right? Very, very often that happens. And or maybe somebody's in and you never built the relationship and they're gone. And then somebody else had kept the relationships with these people. You got to be careful with all of this. You want to be very strong in being close to people, you know, just randomly follow up and say hi to people. You guys know me really well. How often have I randomly out of the blue message you? If I've randomly out of the blue message you without having any appointments, put a 1 in the chat, just randomly. If I've ever done that with you. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I do. And I have lists of names that I randomly connect with just to see what they're up to, how things are going for them. If they have any questions, if they're stuck on anything, you know, and it's to see if I could help in any way to help them out in evolving in their business or in their mindset or in their actions or whatever it is. It's so important. So yeah, these are things that you want to adopt in your business so that you can grow. And Chris, I just grabbed a book here that was over on the side, and I don't know if any of you picked up her book.
Badass Habits.
Badass Habits. I mean, she swears a little bit, but man, her message is really, really good. If anybody's read this, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's some really good tips here on getting stuff done. I mean, some of you have read stuff from other people about getting stuff done. Read these types of books if that's where your biggest challenge is the actions. And again, we need accountability. Everybody needs accountability.
Wonderful. So Tammy, let's take the rest of this time here and then we'll finish with this last clip. So let me just share my screen. Screen number 3. Here we go. And the gentleman that I'm about to share with you here to introduce is Dr. Keowe, and he's from Ghana. He's a professor and a doctor. And I really, really respect his philosophy and the way he look at things. Pay attention to what he's about to share. It's about 4 minutes, so let's play this.
Well, I decided to do this short video to just give my thoughts on work ethic. I believe that the work ethic is something that has to do with right things. And work ethic is very important in everything. In everything. It is said that wisdom is the ability to see what is obvious when it's a secret. And by knowledge, by wisdom, I can tell you that anybody with a powerful work ethic would do well. It doesn't matter what you engage in. You know, it could be something that people are not making income in. It's because something people are not making success in. It could be marriage. It could be anything. And the person will do well. You know why? Because work ethic gives you that desire to want to lead into something that others will later follow. And when you have that work ethic, you dare the undareables. You do the unthinkable. You go, you know, you dare where angels fear to tread. And you don't care because you've got a desire. You know, the way footballers, those who play number 10, they wear number 10, they are skippers. They move around the pitch. They work more than anyone. They go and kick the ball in the corner. They go to the ball, they do the penalty kick, they do the dribbling, they throw the ball. They are moving all around. They don't have a position. They are playing everywhere. Why? Because they love the work. When you love something, you do it with zeal, with passion, with enthusiasm. And that translates into the work ethic. What you got to do, what I do is I try as much as possible to itemize, schedule everything. Schedule everything. My alarm will remind me you got to do this. And you allocate the time. In fact, some time ago, I dedicated time on things that I have not planned. And I realized I've been wasting a lot of time. When you dedicate time to it, then you come to see that time is value. And that is why anybody who wants to succeed in any endeavor, I'm doing multiple things. I'm a professor in 3 universities, director in 3 companies. I own my own company. I am a business owner. I'm the head of artificial intelligence and machine learning in business analytics. I'm doing research. I'm doing teaching. I'm a family man. Hey, there is no excuse when you have love. When you have love towards what you are doing. And so develop the love. See something others cannot see in what you are wanting to achieve. And be determined to put in the hardest of the work. Be reminded by the destination. Let the end justify the means. Let the end drive you. Be desirous. Don't look at the gain you're going to make. Look at the love you have for the thing. Because when you give that kind of value, it will command its own return. So whatever return that you are looking for, don't look at it. There's a book by Daniel Pink, which is called Drive. Please find that book and read it. Daniel Pink. It says, what drives you to do what you want to do should be internal, not external. So if whatever you are doing is as a result of what you want to gain, it's not going to work. It has to be driven by an internal force, an invisible machine igniting your entire cellular particles so that you will do the thing because you have an internal will for it, not because of an external domination. And that is what I believe that a lot of people.
Okay, so that's the end of this video. So I wanted to share this with you just for you to have an idea of an entrepreneur that is in a different market, which happens to be in Ghana. And I know that many of you, I mean, from time to time, I'm going to pick some of you. I'm going to ask you to do a little video. In this case, because right now in Ghana, it's very, very late. So I didn't want to have people to stay up that late for a call like this. So we did this video in the afternoon. But the fact, folks, is, integrity of work is everything. And find a love for what you do. Don't just do it for the money. That's not a real motivating factor. Think about what really matters to you. In other words, maybe what the money can do, what the things that really matters to you. And that's what today's topic is all about, is your work ethics, because your work ethics will determine everything in life. So Tammy, we'll end on this note. Is there a few words you want to finish with?
No, I think that there was a lot of value in today's session. And yeah, if you took notes, just read over those notes. I hope you took some of those quotes and just post them everywhere, sticky notes everywhere. We need to remind ourselves every single day what's important in terms of building our business and what's important in life as well. So
beautiful. Okay, everybody, well, have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you on our next week session. Have yourself a great, great week, and bye for now. Bye-bye.